Hey everybody, and welcome back for another episode. Today I want to do another one of these vlog type episodes, and I'm going to talk to you guys about really my first 2 weeks with React, because I guess it's only been that long. But anyway, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my thoughts, my initial thoughts, how it compares to stuff I've done in the past. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so this is going to be another one of these almost vlog type videos. It's going to just be kind of me talking and ranting, maybe talking about the things that I've learned, my initial thoughts on React. And previously, I did actually just 30 minutes ago, did a video recording. I'll figure out when these are going to be posted on YouTube. But did a similar type thing with my experience, my first year of experience with Angular. The things I learned, the things I liked, things maybe I didn't like that I would like to see a little bit different. And so a little bit of background, I've been, I started with AngularJS on a project, moved on to Angular 4, moved on to 5, which is a smooth transition. And I've been doing mostly Angular, but, I hear about React over and over again. The people I follow on Twitter are talking about React. People I meet at conferences are talking about React. And I guess I really just figured it was time for me to at least kind of dive in and see what it was all about. And I can tell you so far, the things I've seen and the things I've done, I've really, really liked. So anyway, I am currently going through Andrew Mead's course on React, and I'll link to that in the bottom here. But this guy I found on a random thing on YouTube solving, I think I was looking for debugging Node with Visual Studio Code while using NodeMon to have it auto refresh. And I hadn't figured out how to do it, and I couldn't find anywhere on how to do it. And I came across his video that did exactly what I wanted. Thought he did really good stuff, loved his video, and then was kind of looking for React stuff and saw that he did the React course and was happy to pay, I think it was $11 to support him, but also get more great content, because it's like 30 hours of content that I'm going through now. And I'm 60% done, maybe. And some of the stuff is a little less specific to React. I haven't gotten into deployment yet, which I assume that'll be pretty straightforward like other things. And then what's the other one? Oh, Firebase, which I'm super excited to get into. I've heard more and more about Firebase. And actually, by the time this is posted, I probably will have already gone to ngConf, Google's Angular conference. But Google also does Firebase, so I'm assuming they'll talk a lot about that as well. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of a database as a service kind of thing, but also like authentication with different Twitter, Facebook, Google accounts. Stores your data, NoSQL stuff, easy to work with, APIs that you can work with, and then client-side libraries as well. Anyway, so back to React. So I am about 60% done in this, and I think my initial reaction, something I've heard from other people kind of mention as well, React is just JavaScript. I mean, it's not... It's really what it is. I think the biggest thing that I've realized is that there seems to be more to learn in Angular that's specific to Angular than there is to learn specific to React. And maybe part of that is I'm not that far into it. Again, it's only been 2 weeks. But I feel like I've got a pretty good idea of how it's trying to do what it does. And in general, like none of these frameworks are that drastically different in terms of what they accomplish. And I still need to plug my computer in. I didn't plug this one in. But between React and Vue and Angular, obviously I haven't used Vue yet, so I can't talk to that much. But React and Angular, I mean, they do things differently. They certainly do. The setup is different. What you do and how you do it is different. But at the end of the day, it's helping you build an application, and it gives you, I don't know, lots of similar concepts that I'm used to from Angular. So there's nothing like drastically new, but the how you do it is different. But going back to it really just feels it's just JavaScript. And the exciting thing, the cool thing for me is that it's modern JavaScript. You take advantage so much. I guess you don't have to, but so much of it is taking advantage of ES6 and all the cool new stuff that came there, and ES7 and ES8 and stuff like that. So I'm excited to have a reason to practice more of those things. In Angular, I was and still am doing TypeScript. And you get to take advantage of a lot of the new ESX stuff there as well. And I love TypeScript. I think I know there's ways to set up and configure React to work with TypeScript, because you just need to transpile it into JavaScript and then just use that. And I think I read an article about a month ago when I was just reading up on it about how you could do that. But TypeScript is awesome. But just in general, like being able to just write JavaScript is really cool, and write JavaScript in a way that's really modern. You're staying abreast of the latest in technology there. I don't know. So in that sense, that's one of the things that's probably most exciting to me, is that it seems like there's less specific to React to learn versus just learning how classes work, for example. And when you set your state and you're not you're not altering the state, you're setting it to a new state example, and doing all the object destructuring and array functions and all that kind of stuff is really cool. Like, I love it. So that I think has been one of the most refreshing aspects of it. Is at the end of the day, it's just JavaScript. I haven't gotten into, and I'm not 100% sure on this, so you guys critique me or tell me when I'm wrong. But I think Create React App is kind of the CLI for React, and I think it does more than just creating your initial project. I think it gives you some scaffolding tools after the initial creation. I don't know if it actually does like your dev server and all that kind of stuff, but certainly one of the things that I love most about Angular is Angular CLI, and it gives you scaffolding. It gives you an initial project. It sets everything up. It gives you configuration for automated testing for SAS and SCSS. It gives you, so many things. A development server, a production build, did I mention testing? Configuration for automated testing. Anyway, all these different things come with Angular CLI, that it's really cool. And in my last video about my experience with Angular, I talked a little bit about, I wish I hadn't jumped right into Angular CLI. I wish I had built some Angular applications from scratch, just to kind of really understand what was going on behind the scenes. And I think I'm starting to pick up on having wished I did that more by doing that now with React. So the stuff that we're going through, we're setting up Webpack, we're setting up, doing all the bundling, doing all the CSS and styling and pushing that in, and SCSS, doing the development server, it's pretty straightforward with Webpack. But your dev server, it auto reloads, and I gave this advice a lot in the last video. Get an auto reloading server, save a file, let it push it to the browser, and auto reload your application. Again, I said this in the last one. If you guys don't know how to do that, or you haven't done it yet, and you're looking for maybe some advice on how to get there, let me know. I'll be happy to help. But yeah, so going through and setting everything up, from scratch has been, I know what Webpack does. I've spent time practicing with Webpack just to kind of see. But after getting to Angular CLI, I didn't touch it because they did all that for me. So now kind of doing that again and getting a refresh and learning a little bit more about what it does has been pretty useful. So yeah, I think at some point I will get into Create React App. I don't know if we cover that in the course, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm talking words that I see people talk about. So if you guys want to comment, let me know what all Create React App does, or if there's a separate CLI tool, scaffolding tool kind of thing. Let me know. And let me take a look at my notes here. And again, this is just getting more and more casual here, these videos. I thought initially that JSX would bother me. The idea of doing HTML, and I'm assuming other people kind of have similar thoughts. The idea of doing HTML in a JavaScript file, you don't get as good intelligence with Visual Studio Code, for example. Some of the things are a little off on what I would expect. Right now, I can't use Emmet. I think there's got to be a way to do that. Just Emmet shortcuts in the actual JavaScript file for React with JSX. If you guys know how to do that, please let me know, because that would be super handy. But for the most part, it hasn't been that bad. Like I really thought it would bug me when I first saw that, like, instead of class, you had to use class name, because class is a reserved keyword in JavaScript. I was thinking, wow, if I already have to do that for one thing, how many different examples of that are there going to be? And I was kind of worried about having to learn too many specific things to React versus just doing JavaScript, which is what it really turns out to be. So there's a few things like that. And class name is the one I think about right offhand, so I'm kind of blanking on other ones. But there's a few like that where you have to use a slightly different word than you would in HTML. But for the most part, it's really not that bad, and it's pretty simple. And when you get into really doing these small components, your HTML shouldn't be that big for any given thing. So it's not near as much of a concern as I would have thought. We got into routing, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's the same kind of stuff that you see in any other routing situation. whether it's Express on the back end with Node or Angular routing on like single page application front end client side routing. Yeah, you define, the one thing I thought was a little interesting is you define your routes in JSX. I don't necessarily care either way. I just thought that was kind of interesting. In Angular, it's just an object. It's an array of objects, array of route objects. But yeah, I mean, it accomplishes the same thing. You define a path. You can define, I guess, your route parameters. So if you /user/ID and you need to get access to that ID, query parameters, all those things you have access to in your component. Didn't take much to set up. Yeah, it really not that bad. I mean, the routing stuff is pretty straightforward. What I'm used to, nothing concept-wise was new. It's just figuring out how to do it in React, which is cool. At the same time, state management and getting into Redux was kind of interesting. The basic examples that you do with React, you can keep state in your components, and you can kind of update your state, maintain your state that way. And it changes a little bit when you get into Redux. And this really resonated with me because in Angular, having all these different components and having them need to talk to each other can be tough. There's lots of different ways to do things. And I haven't necessarily, for a lot of the scenarios that I've gone through, found like this is the best way to do it. And again, that's just opinion. I gotta keep clicking on. I don't know why. I should just plug it in, but here I am. So anyway, yeah, it's I don't know. It's all opinions, right, on how you share information between components with Angular specifically. So there's lots of different ways to do things. There's probably best practices which really do make sense. But at the same time, I've kind of gone with some flexibility of mine, just making decisions on what I think makes the most sense. And actually, one of the things that I did do was I kind of had the parent either base component or application component really maintain all the state, and any changes to the state would come from the children up to the parent, change the state, and it would get filtered down as props to the children, which really is what happens with React with Redux. So you've got Redux as your store, it seems like, and again, feel free to comment, call me out if I say something wrong, but Redux is your store, all of your state really goes through there, and it gets pushed down to your components, and your components more or less decide off of that state, I want this thing. Like, this is what I need from this state. So you've got this one piece of state up here. This component needs just this thing. This component needs this other thing. And as they make changes all the way up to the state. And again, it filters back down. So it's still that same, I guess it's like waterfall approach, not in the sense of like how long it takes to do a project and define a project, but waterfall in terms of like you've got state filters down through props to your child components. As they make changes, it goes, the water recycles, comes back up, and then filters on down again. So that, that's one of the things that I was a little nervous about, was you had to get into this whole different, it's just a package. I don't know. You had to get into this whole different idea that's not baked into React itself, whereas Angular, you have support for all that stuff. You're getting into sometimes a little quicker third-party packages to do the things that you need to do. And that could be a plus and a minus, right? Angular has so much stuff built in. It's all built by Google, right? But then here you've got a very active third-party ecosystem where people are, and it's active for Angular as well, but some of the core parts that you need in almost every project are third-party libraries. So it's just kind of interesting. It's not necessarily, it hasn't been a hindrance, obviously, for me and the stuff that I've been doing. So Redux, again, it solves a problem in a way that I was solving stuff in Angular. So that really resonated with me. I'm just going to keep checking my notes here. Community support, NPM packages. It seems like React is just cooler. It seems more hip. Vue is obviously becoming super popular as well. I think it's just a little bit newer than React, and it's kind of picking up steam. But I hear people talking about React all the time, and it was just time for me to really get in and see what it was all about. And so far, I'm really liking it. Let's see here. JSX stuff, not that bad. Sharing state with Redux, not that bad. Yeah, I think that's actually most of the stuff that I kind of covered without even going back to my notes, which I guess isn't bad. But all in all, for me, it's been fun. Again, it's only been 2 weeks, but I'm excited to kind of get into that ecosystem. I'm excited to have conversations with people who are in the React ecosystem. I'm going to try to do some videos, some small projects and things in React, just to do something outside of a course where someone's telling me what to do. And just see where it goes. I don't know. It's been fun. I love, the biggest thing is it's all JavaScript. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it that you don't learn by just doing JavaScript, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Enjoying the course, enjoying what we're building, how we're building it. There's some good stuff. Excited to get into Firebase at some point as well. But I'll finish that up, and I will probably take maybe one of these small sample projects that I do in the future. I'll do in React. That way I can share some of the stuff with you guys, get to practice a little bit more. And honestly, along the way when I'm doing that sort of stuff, probably a lot of you guys are going to look at it and tell me stuff that I'm doing wrong or how to do it better. Hopefully is the more constructive way to do it. And I'm all ears for that because I'm new to it, and I just want to get better and better. So I will continue to work on it. I'll finish my course. I'll put some stuff out later on React. But this is just my initial thoughts. First 2 weeks of watching YouTube videos and going through a Udemy course. But super positive, really enjoying it, and I'll keep going. So if you guys like what you saw today, specifically with this new format, just kind of want to hear me talk a little bit about what's going on. I think I like it. I think I like to just kind of get on a webcam and I rant, I guess. I don't know is the best way to put it. It feels a little more natural than I thought it would, because a few videos I did before with actual like me on a camera was I don't know. I would do a lot of editing. This I don't really feel like I'm gonna edit. You guys can see me looking down at my phone for notes. I don't care. I might stumble a little bit. I don't care. So it's just kind of raw takes. So anyway, if you like what you see, let me know. If you don't like it or you have a suggestion on how to do it different, let me know as well. But love the support. Thank you guys for watching. Give me a like, subscribe. Find me on Twitter. Send me a message. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you need help in. Let me know what's going on out there. And I'll be happy to talk to you. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for watching.